welcome to another special episode of the Rams Review Podcast. It's Corey along with you today, and we are here because Derby, according to several reports, are on the cusp of signing a Dutch midfielder. Probably not one that's playing in the Euros, more than likely. But he is from AZ Alkmaar. So what we wanted to do, we wanted to bring in Anthony from AZ Alerts, who's going to be able to tell us more about. I'm gonna butcher this name, Kenzo Goudmijn. How do you say his last name?
You say his name is Kenzo Goudmijn.
Goudmijn.
Yeah, and Goudmijn is the translation to gold mine.
Okay.
So I think it's a beautiful football name to have in your squad.
It is. It is. Hopefully it proves to be a gold mine for Derby. And Anthony, thank you very much for taking time out of your busy schedule to chat with me today.
Thank you very much for the invite. It's a pleasure.
So Anthony, tell me a little bit about Kenzo. Are you surprised that Derby, who have just got promoted back to the championship in England, the second tier, are you surprised that he's making that move overseas? What was kind of your reaction when you heard that news that he might be on his way to England?
Yeah, we heard about the news, I think, 2 weeks ago that Derby was interested. And we know that Go Ahead Eagles from the Netherlands, SC Heerenveen, who is interested really concrete as well, with their new head coach, Robin van Persie, talked with him in Ibiza to talk him to Heerenveen. So I expected that he would go to Heerenveen, but the last days we were hearing that Derby was pushing and pushing, and some days ago it was breaking news and done deal to Derby. So I was really excited, but surprised as well.
Why would AZ try to get rid of him? I mean, he's been with the club for a long time. He came through the youth system, which we know is one of the best in Europe. I think it was in 2010 that he kind of joined the youth system.
That's true.
I think he was in the year before they went to the UEFA Youth Cup and won that division. He was kind of already out of that group by then. And he's kind of been around the first team for 3 or 4 years. Well, why now do AZ feel it's the right time to cash in on him?
His problem is that there is a lot of competitors on his position. We have some really good players. We have Christian Bale, Jordi Klaas, you maybe know from his time for Southampton. We have Sven Mijnans on this position. It's too difficult for him to get into the team. And on his age, it's the best thing to make so many minutes as you can. And if you can do it at your club at the moment, then you have to look further. So I think that AZ is thinking with him and gives him this opportunity to make minutes in his career.
And I was reading, Anthony, that he's a midfielder. I've also seen like he can kind of play out wide sometimes. What's his best position? Is it center midfielder? Is it on the wing? And what type of midfielder is he? Is he a box-to-box type, a defensive, a creative kind of midfielder?
Thing because in the youth academy he played a lot on the number 10 position, but also as a winger. But later on, especially the last 2-3 years, in my opinion, his best position is being on the number 8 or 6, because he improved a lot his condition and he's getting more box to box as well. And to combine together with his technique, is a really complete player already. And I didn't expect this development, especially the last year at Excelsior when he played in the Eredivisie. He makes a really good impression. So I think it's a very good signing for Derby.
So what are some of the strengths of Kenzo that we can expect to see him grace Pride Park with?
If you look to Kenzo, to start with his where he can improve is that he is not the strongest one. He is a small guy, not physically the strongest one, and that will be very interesting to see how he's going to hold in a very physical competition as the Premiership. And but his qualities is he knows exactly how and where to walk between the lines. So he knows where to get out of the duels, and that's one of his best things. He is very technical. He analyzed the playing field very good, like Frenkie de Jong. I think the technical part and the box-to-box part are his best place. And he has a very small turning circle, so he's very quick, small foot, and that's also very interesting.
I've noticed he's a relatively small young man in terms of
Yeah.
height and stature. What are
Hmm.
some of the weaknesses in his game that he can look to improve on? Because the reason I mention is height is the championship is a highly physical division. And sometimes when you're a little guy, it can have
Hmm.
advantages because you can nip between, but can also have a disadvantage as well. What are some of the weaknesses in his game that we could potentially improve upon?
Yeah, sometimes because he's very technical and he was was an attacker in the past in the youth, he can be sometimes too long being in his action that he can lose the ball on a bad position where with 2-3 passes the striker will be in front of the goal. And yeah, as we already said, his physical must getting better, and I think at Derby is the best way to learn that. But I'm very surprised about this improvement the last year at Excelsior. You really should watch some highlights, videos and matches from him because his improvement is really good. But yeah, he has just bad luck that we have very good midfielders.
I know one of those midfielders was Timmy Reyers. I think he went to AC Milan last summer. So that's kind of the
Yes.
level that they're at. They're kind of at that level in midfield.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at it, and I had seen where he was part of the AZ team in the first half of the season, and then kind of went to Excelsior in that second half
Yeah.
and really excelled. I think he played 23 odd times, and I think Excelsior did get relegated from Eredivisie,
Yeah.
right?
True.
But he
They
was,
had to they had
from
to
all
play
intents and
playoffs
purposes, a
in
better
it.
player.
Yeah, correct. And he was by far one of the best players Excelsior. They had Drioech who just went to PSV, and him who were definitely the key players of the team. And yeah, as I said, he could easily make a transfer to the sub top of the Eredivisie, but he chose just a other competition. What I really understand, because if you are in a new environment, I think is the best way to learn things. And he's been so many times long in Eredivisie at Alkmaar that to improve yourself, it's thinking a good idea to make a step in other competition. And this time it's the Premiership. And if you are doing well in the Premiership, you can also easily make a transfer to the Premier League. And that's, I think, the league 9 out of 10 players want to play in.
It's difficult to agree with that. Yeah, hopefully he can come in and be a success because we're on like a bit of a 5-year plan, and we're not ready to go up by any stretch of the imagination right now. And I think the thing that stands out to me, Anthony, is give me some hope here because Derby've had a couple of Dutch players recently, including a Dutch manager in Philip Kaku. We had Kel Roos, who was in and around the team for a long time. And then we had Mike Taveric, who came from Groningen a couple of years ago, and he was kind of here for 6 months and he left. And I guess it was a little different because it was the COVID year and he couldn't move his family and there were some different things. But give me some optimism here about why Kenzo will be a success at Derby.
I think because it's a very smart player. He knows where to walk. And if I know the Premiership well, but correct me if I'm wrong, the players in the Premiership really stays in their line, and he knows exactly to play between those lines and give the cross ball, give the key pass, especially the pre-assist. I think that's his specialty, the pre-assist, not the assist, but the pre-assist to the cross ball. If you have wingers who walks a lot, I think his quality will be great in your team. But I don't know exactly the Derby country if he fits in your team. But I think he will fit into the league definitely because it's a different player than most of the Premiership teams has.
Yeah, definitely. Derby's undergoing a massive midfield rebuild right now. We lost, several key players, both loanees, and it sold a couple. So, he should get plenty of game time. And I would think, this is the first time in a long time we'll have played a transfer fee for him. I believe it's somewhere 500,000 to 750,000 pounds or something like that. I think is
In the rumors I heard, it's 1 million euros.
1 million euros. Okay, fair
Yeah,
enough.
so that will be around 800,000 pounds, I expect.
Okay, well, that's pretty good. That's pretty good value for a young lad with potential sell on. And it really seems to me when you're saying there, talking about tactics and how positionally teams set up, he kind of reminds me with you saying that Thomas Muller kind of popped into my head because
Hmm.
Thomas Muller always said that his idea was to just try to get space. He was like
Yeah.
he was just trying to find pockets of space that he could unsettle the thing. And that takes a lot of intelligence for a player to be able to do that. So I think,
Yeah.
that's something that's different. That's something Derby's not had in a long time for a player who can, instinctively go between the lines and look and pick up the ball and figure out what to do with it. So I'm really excited about this because Anthony, Derby have not signed a foreign player in a very long time.
Yeah.
It's a joke amongst Derby fans that often our scouts don't have passports, but apparently they do now. So we'll see. And we know that that manager Paul Warren and his coaching staff were over in the Netherlands and I think Denmark as well at the end of towards the end of the season after our season finished. So it'll be really interesting to see how Kenzo does. And Anthony, before I let you go, remind me one more time how to say his last name.
His last name is Goudmijn.
Houtman, and it means gold mine.
Correctly.
So
and I want
enough.
to add some extra information because I saw a lot of Derby fans into their different kind of blogs who were saying that his medical already was some days ago, but that's definitely not true. He was here in the Netherlands. He had not his medical. This weekend was the birthday of his girlfriend who was there chilling in Amsterdam. So no, it definitely not happened, and that it happened today. So to be clear, today was his medical, and I think it will be a great signing, and also to see his girlfriend on the stand. That's definitely no punishment to watch. So also on that way, it's a good signing.
And that's good to know because if medical took place today, we could probably expect an announcement. I would think imminently, but it's a bit late in the day, so more than likely tomorrow they do medicals and press things on the same day. So that was a really good flag. I know everybody's really excited about it. You've just made me even more excited about it.
Yeah.
And I'm going to sign off here with a pun and just say, hopefully we've got a real gold mine of a player on our hands. See, it gets everybody every time. Anthony from AZ Alerts. Anthony, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it. I wish you all the best for next season, but let's not talk about Wednesday because I can't wish you luck then. But outside of that, I wish you all the best with AZ in the future.
Thank you very much and have a nice day, man.